Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do a book tag today. I haven't done one in a while. I know I have a few that I've been tagged and that I haven't done yet, but this is one I've been wanting to do since I saw it. It is the Moody Book Tag, which I saw first on Sean the Book Maniac, and I know several people have done it since then, or because it's been like over a month. So I've been meaning to do it. It didn't seem to happen. Anyway, so this was originally done or created by Slanted Spines. I will have both of their videos linked down below, as well as the questions. So let's just get into it. So question number 1 is, do you consider yourself a mood reader? Yes. As people who watch my channel regularly, they know I fight with my scheduler brain that professionally that's what I do for a living. And I keep wanting to do that with my reading, try to schedule myself, and I am horrible at it. My plans are, if, they're not very good. So I used to be a full mood reader through most of my growing up, except for like classwork and stuff. Really, what I read is whatever I wanted. And I continued that mostly through most of my adult as well. It's really, BookTube has made me kind of want to schedule more, which I do a little bit more than I used to, because again, there are certain months, there are certain great readathons and that I want to take part in, so I always think, oh, I'm going to read all this stuff in that month for that, and then I read, so these things for this month, and so, but I'm finding that I have to be a little bit more flexible in what I think I'm going to get done in those readathons. And so I think that's why I've pretty much pulled away from reading readathons that are less than 2 weeks. A 2-week one to 4-week one are perfect for me because it gives me time to read something else, as well as maybe read more than one thing, and maybe I'll have several books that I want to get to, but I will pick and choose which one I want, depending on my mood. So I would say I was a mood reader. I very much want to try to get back to that as much as possible, but it's really hard when I want to participate in all these readathons. So we'll see. I'm working on it, but I would say I'm for sure a mood reader. I also have a tendency to pick up books and then put them down when I'm not in the mood. Number 2, do you set TBR lists and do you stick with them? No. I set lists, yes. Do I stick with them? No. I am at the most 50% accurate to what I'm actually going to read in that month. I went from, especially here on BookTube, I'm going to read these 6, 7, 8 books, I would say, when I first started doing TBRs on here, and I would read about half of those. And then I started paring it down because I'm trying to get back to the mood reading, like, fully. But I still want to plan things. So I cut my TBR down to 4 or 5 titles for last year. Still only 50%. And then this year I've cut it down, like I've gone to 4 to 3 books that I pick. I'm still 50%. I would say it fluctuates up and down. There's some months I do a lot better than others. But I would say my average is probably going to come up to 50%, which is why I track it. But I think after June, I think I'm going to try not to even say that I don't know, it's kind of hard. There's certain things that I do that I want to make sure I read that book that month for either a buddy read or, read along of some sort. But again, everything else on my TBR is all possibilities. So I'm still working on how I'm going to do this or going forward. I know recently I've had a lot of problems with that, but I would say yes, I make TBR lists all the time and I don't stick to them very often. Number 3, do books affect you emotionally? Does the mood of the book rub off on you? So I would say they affect me emotionally, as in I definitely if they make me laugh or if they make me sad or something, but it's like within the book world, like that's it's separate. The mood of the book does not carry out there unless it was a fantastic book and I'm just ecstatic that I finished that book and I loved that book. And that is the only feeling usually that carries over. Now, even if it's a sad book, I will be affected by it while I'm reading it, but it won't affect my mood for that day. It's not like that. It's, because it's in the book. It's not real. And some nonfiction is a little bit more amped to actually affect me because it's real, and that it just hurts more. But it's still, I don't usually let it bleed into how I feel for the day, unless it was just fantastic. And then that feeling I allow, I guess, to kind of bleed into how I feel that day, because I'll just be thinking about that book all day going, oh, that was so good. That was such a good book. Oh, I so enjoyed reading that and stuff. So anyway, but that's kind of about it. For when you're feeling sad, what do you read, or do you not read when sad? I read like all the time, and I might not read quite as much if I'm sad. I don't know. I guess I don't think about it that way. Usually escapism, or, you know, a reread is going to be my first thing if I'm feeling out of sorts and I don't want to read. You know, if I'm feeling sad, I want to pick up a book that makes me happy, or a book that I have strong feelings about. So I will pick up almost always a Nellie Singh book, because those are my go-to for rereads or when I'm in a slump or anything. It's just, those are the books I go to when my mood is off, because I could reread all of her books over and over and over, and I'll just pick one of the books that I feel like that day, that's what I want to read, and I will read that. So anyway, I would say that I still read. I just might I might put down my current read and go get a reread. 5, more often do you use reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? So I would say most often it's probably reading to escape, but it's, I mean, not quite to a level of I forget the world or anything like that. I just think I more often want to pull up books that I just enjoy reading and have fun with, and enjoy those stories. And again, there's certain ones that I really like, but I also do read stuff to learn, because I read a lot of nonfiction, and critically reflect if I'm reading classics and things. So, and also nonfiction and stuff. But it's just, I would say more often I'm more towards to escape, even though I would say I really like to learn, and I learn a lot of things even from fiction than, you know, as much as nonfiction sometimes. Mostly nonfiction is where I learn, but you know what I mean? Like, there are things you could still learn from experiences that I don't have that I can get. So I think it's, you know, again, I think a lot of people in this question have said that you do kind of a combination of all of them, but I would admit that especially if I let myself fully mood read, and I dropped a lot of certain kind of books that, you know, maybe I'm not super as much, or they're harder for me to pick up. Like, it takes me longer to get to them. I would probably be reading more for escapism or than anything else. Number 6, what is a book that made you laugh out loud? So I recently read this, Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day by Winifred Watson, and I laughed at this book. It was so much fun. So, I mean, there's a lot of books I've laughed out loud, like certain points, but this one was just a lot of fun, and just, it was whimsical and weird and, or funny, and you just laughed, and it went in directions I had no idea where this was going most of the time. And again, it follows a woman who is an out-of-work governess who thinks she has a line on a job from her agency, but when she gets there, something's been mixed up, but she finds a young woman, and they pretty much, it's their day together over this misunderstanding of why she's there, and then the young woman needs her help in certain things because the other woman is older, and it's so funny. It takes place in the 1930s, London. Oh my gosh, I just love this book. And I laughed so much. I'm already looking forward to a reread of this, because I just laughed so much about it. It was just so much fun. It was cute. I just really liked it. And then, what is a book that made you cry, or if you don't cry, one that really moved you? So, I did cry on this one, I admit it. I also laughed at this one a lot too. So this is one of the ones I could have crossed for both, because there were some really funny parts in here too, but a different kind of funny. But anyway, that was The Witch's Heart by Guinevere Gornichek. So this is a Norse retelling of a witch who is plagued by stuff that Odin did to her, and then she meets Loki later on, and then that kind of changes the whole Norse saga kind of thing. And I just love their interactions, her and Loki, and I liked, again, so that part was the fun part. The part that made me cry, there's 2 points. One of them just destroyed me on what happened, and it was so hard to read because I was so teared up over what happened. And that's just me. That one hit me. Not everybody's gonna feel that way. I know other people probably won't, but to me, what happened in that scene still just, it just guts me what happens, and it really made me cry. And I am gonna get a copy of that. I'm waiting for paperback because I read it from my library. Number 8, what is a book that you didn't even know, what is a book that you don't even know how you felt about? So I thought about this. I don't even know how you answer this kind of question. Mostly because most of the books I read, I have feelings one way or the other, either good or bad ones, and even a mediocre 3, or something that's like good but not great, I had a feeling about it. Like, there's a reason why it was a 3. So I don't know. And I've tried to think of something that I could mention, but everything I can think of, I have an opinion on in some way or other. So I don't have a really good answer for this. Sorry, I did look back on my Goodreads and try to see if there's a book that like called out like that to me, but nothing. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Everything usually there's a reason for why I rated it that way, and I had some reaction to it, good or bad. But I don't know if any of them that I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, I don't know. So that was a fail for me. I don't know that answer. Sorry. Number 9, are you more likely to read on a summer day or a cloudy day? That doesn't matter what the weather's like, I'm gonna read. So no, doesn't matter. I'm more likely to read any day, mostly because I'm allergic to the sun. And I live in Oregon, so it's raining a lot. So it doesn't matter. Number 10, do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, lights, smells, etc. No, I read everywhere, anywhere, anyway. A lot of times the TV's on in the background. Sometimes music is playing. It just matters how I feel. And sometimes I just read it in silence. So it doesn't matter. Sometimes a certain book I might need to focus more, so I will have it silent when I'm reading it. Other books I can read, like a lot of my more lighter books like paranormal romances and urban fantasies, I have the TV going and I just read either on commercials or between videos that I'm watching, and sometimes I just lose track of what's actually on the television and I'm just reading. So it's not a mood setting, it's just how it is. And then number 11, can you leap from book to book, or do you need buffer time between them? No, I leap from book to book. I almost always know what book I'm going to pick up next. It's usually sitting right next to me, ready to go, or, So I usually do my little ritual of tracking my book, taking a picture for Instagram, and posting that, and then doing a couple things, and then I start the next book. That's kind of how that goes. So this is kind of an older tag, so I'm not going to tag anybody, but if you'd like to do it, let me know that you did it. You can say I tagged you. I don't mind. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.